drug addict, criminal, alcoholic, monster, and loser. Those were all labels that people in my world put on me at a young age. That was the reality that I believed for so many years. I'm from a small town in Iowa. Anyone here from Iowa? Oh, I'm sorry. We brought the cold weather down here for you guys. That was the reality that I lived in for so many years as a high school student, a middle schooler, just drinking and drugging, just living that life of sin, hating my Creator God. Label after label after label. It took me to a place of absolute addiction and darkness, things that we don't even need to talk about here today, but I'm telling you the truth, it took me to the grave. I didn't get to find Jesus in a beautiful sanctuary like this. I wish I did sometimes. When I got to experience Jesus Christ, I was a dying young man in a small town hospital in Iowa. My kidneys had failed. I was slipping into a coma. My brain was starting to have a lot of damage. I was a lost individual who hated my Creator. Drug addict, criminal, monster, all of those labels. All of it gets wiped away with one word from Him. He gave me a whole new label. Do you know what that label is? His. That's it. That's all that I needed to hear. I needed to hear that I belonged to Him and Him alone. I didn't need any other label that I have today, such as being a father, being a husband to a beautiful Brasileira, a Brazilian. All of the good things that God has given me today, all of those wonderful new labels that I have in my life today, none of it is as important as knowing that I am His. 15 years ago, He changed my life and He set me on a whole new course. He took me to various different countries and wound up over in Brazil for about 8 years preaching the gospel, where God brought our family together. And I'm telling you, He brought us to the United States. After about 8 years down there in Brazil, He started to call us back up here for one reason only: to serve the ministry of Teen Challenge. It's an incredible ministry. I can't begin to try to tell you how wonderful this ministry is and how many lives are changed. I know a lot of you already know the story of Teen Challenge. The biggest thing that we do is we pull the calling out of people's lives. We look at these men who have been crushed with all these labels that the world has put on them, and we say, hey, you know what? You were born for more than this. You were created for something different. You have a plan. Let me tell you quickly about the God that I serve. In Romans chapter 4, the way that Abraham describes it, when Paul is writing it down, when he describes who this Creator God is, he looks at him and he says, hey, you know what? The God that I serve, He gives life to the dead, and He calls into existence the things that do not exist as though they do already. We have no idea the calling that God has placed on our lives. I look at all of these people that are about ready to go into this water right here, and I'm just so excited for what God is doing in your life. You have no idea the steps that are coming before you, the places God is going to take you, the things you will do, the things you will say. But I tell you this, if God calls you to it, I promise you, He will lead you through the whole thing. It'll be mountaintops and valleys, but it will be exciting. Do not stop trusting this Jesus. Do not stop holding on to the promises of God on your life.